Hey, and welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we are hitting R Factor, R Factor 2 and Assetto Corsa with one of these bad boys, a Ford GT40. We're going to see how this car and these three sim racing platforms all play with the Dr. ADHD 4 Degree of Freedom motion sim. So strap yourself in for a wild ride and some very interesting results. The motion sim will be put through its paces on Sebring, and I have downloaded the Virtua LM mod for Sebring for all three platforms, and we'll be putting the GT40 through its paces over 2 laps on each platform to keep the video short and sweet. At the end of the demonstration on the 3 platforms, I will take you through my settings in Sim Tools. Now, what's important, guys, is that the settings are identical for R Factor, R Factor 2 and Assetto Corsa, so then we have apples for apples, so you can see how the motion sim behaves on all 3 platforms with exactly the same settings. almost head-butted the steering wheel there. Okay, let's have a look at R Factor 2 now on the same course. We've upped the horsepower and the torque because we're jumping in a Mark IV GT40. Just remember, guys, we have no traction control in these cars. We have no ABS, and we have a H-pattern shifter that we're dealing with here with heel and toe downshifts. These are a real handful to drive, and it felt like I was driving on an ice skating rink. well, the indignity of it all when you're simply trying to pull over and then someone accosts you up the rear end. Anyway, guys, you really know about it at Sebring when you get on those rumble strips and when you get on some of those really high curbs, they really throw you around. So lucky last is Assetto Corsa. Assetto Corsa is an absolute bone shaker on Sebring. Not sure if it's the road meshing or whatever, and it could be a number of things. This is generally what I'm finding with Assetto Corsa across the board versus R-Factor and R-Factor 2. It's just a lot more violent on the motion sim than those other two platforms. So in the last lap, guys, I'll talk about what I feel as far as what I felt was the best experience across these three platforms on the sim. Obviously you can see this for yourself when you're watching the videos and you're watching the movement on the motion sim. But like so many things like this, force feedback, etc., this is very subjective and it very much comes down to people's taste, what you like and what you don't like. This video will particularly actually choosing Sebring as a venue to do this test with these platforms was kind of a request, or it was a suggestion at least anyway. Someone left a comment on one of my videos. I think it was the Isle of Man video. I did mention in the Isle of Man video that I should probably check out some developer tracks to see if there's much of a difference in road telemetry, road meshing, tyre physics, etc. than community-based tracks. Well, you can see I've ended up running with more community-based tracks, but this is by the Virtua LM team and they are quite renowned for having really, really good, accurate tracks. So apologies for that one, guys, for this not being actual developer tracks. I will definitely do that at some point and we'll knock that over to see if there is much of a difference. So for a track that's flat, there's no major elevation changes, etc., this is quite a rough track, and this was partially why this particular person had left the comment asking would I do a video with the motion sim running on Sebring. I can understand now why they wanted to see this. There's some really bumpy bits of this track and they're across the board, so the team has done well. They've been able to basically implement it feels like exactly the same track across all three platforms as far as that goes. The rumble strips on Sebring, some of the curbs are monsters. You get on those, they really throw you around quite a lot. It really is quite a challenging track, particularly with these particular cars. It's a handful to drive this track. Not really probably the best car for this track, but it's good fun and I'm up for the challenge. But for now, I think really from what I felt in the sim across these three platforms, they've all been pretty similar. Assetto Corsa is definitely by far the most violence comes into the rig in Assetto Corsa, so that must be the way the road meshing is written, the way the data is written in Assetto Corsa, possibly the tyre physics, etc. This is my opinion, guys, because as I said earlier, it comes down to people's personal taste with this sort of stuff. But for me, I enjoyed the good old original R Factor. It felt the tightest, the sweetest, and the most accurate, in my opinion, and I would definitely be dialing the intensity slider down at least by 20%, as I've mentioned earlier, before I would race any of these tracks. And to sum it up, guys, I would simply say this: big motion is not necessarily the best motion. Accurate motion is what we're after. So yes, you would definitely dial this down and you would add a decent amount of smoothing, 20 to 30%. That's certainly what I would be doing if I was actually playing this for a long period of time. Let's have a look at Game Manager first and the intensity level. What is this intensity slider? This adds instant smoothing to all of your degrees of force in Game Engine. This is a slider that basically enables you to make changes on the fly. So for example, if you suddenly change cars or tracks and you've got way too much motion because you're in a faster car or a rougher track, instead of having to go into Game Engine and adjust all your degrees of force individually, you can just apply smoothing, and it works counterintuitively. 100 is no smoothing, and anything less than 100 are degrees of smoothing. These are the forces available down the bottom here. In all three platforms will have these same forces. Let's have a look now at Game Engine and what we're going to set up as degrees of force for all three platforms that we are playing today. Let's start with our pitch. Axis 1A, Axis 2A. This is our front left motor, our front right motor. So these are our forces that control our vertical movement on our motion simulator. Pitch is set at 20, no filters. Roll is set at 12, no filters. Heave is set at 30, no filters. Surge is set at 30, no filters. Axis assignments B. These are the other two motors. This is the surge motor and the traction loss motor. Okay, here's our surge setup here, and on the surge motor, Axis 1B, I also have heave. I've got surge and heave degrees of force placed on that motor, and surge is set up at 50 degrees of force, no filters, and I've got 20 degrees of force of heave set up on that surge motor. Axis 2B. Now this little dot here, guys, that's just direction. That's if you need to reverse the polarity of your motor for some reason because it's not moving the right way in game. So don't worry about this. All we need to worry about is what our degrees of force are and if there's any filtering. So our extra 1 represents our traction loss in R Factor 2 and Assetto Corsa is all under extra 1. So it's set at 50 degrees of force, and it's the only filter set up for this is this one here called traction loss. What this does, guys, this enables the traction loss to return to the center after a traction loss event has taken place very quickly. If we don't have this set up, if this is just left off, what will happen is you will lose traction and the motion sim will sweep out to the left or it'll sweep out to the right, and then it will return really slowly to the center. So things get really messed up if you are fishtailing, for example, and the traction loss actually that's happening in the game is quickly going left and right, but it gets all jumbled up because it doesn't return fast enough to the center actually on the sim. So when we engage this traction loss filter here and you put it all the way at 100, it gives you a really quick, snappy return to center. So then when you are in a fishtailing scenario, for example, with traction loss, it goes left and right very quickly like it would in a car. That's the best way to describe that. So like I've said, guys, all three platforms, R Factor 2 and Assetto Corsa, will all share these same degrees of force for the front two vertical motors, for our surge motor and for our traction loss motor. You guys stay safe, stay healthy, and take it easy out there.